This is Dr. Nick Walters from Mission Hospital, Bangkok, and I'd like to talk to you about travel vaccines. There are many different kinds of vaccines, but travel vaccines that are important for Southeast Asia include Hepatitis A vaccine, sometimes Hepatitis B vaccine, Japanese Encephalitis, and Typhoid vaccines. Sometimes others are included, including Rabies vaccine. I want to tell you about each of these for just a moment. The first vaccine is Japanese Encephalitis vaccine. Japanese Encephalitis is an infection due to a virus that causes a brain infection. It's spread by a mosquito bite. It's very common in Southeast and South Asia. And this infection, if acquired, cannot be treated. We have to wait until it goes away, but many times it leaves permanent brain defects. So because of that, the best way of avoiding the problem is to avoid the problem by injecting the vaccine. There are two types of vaccines that are used. There is a newer version of the vaccine which is given as 2 injections 3 to 12 months apart. There's an older version of the vaccine that's given at initially 1 week, and then a week later, and then 1 month later. The newer version of the vaccine is better if you can get it. We do have it at our hospital, so if you haven't had it yet, please come and see me. Japanese encephalitis can be prevented with the vaccine. The next vaccine is the typhoid vaccine. Typhoid is an infection caused by Salmonella typhi, which is a bacteria. It comes from unclean food or water, and it can cause a severe infection within the intestine, spreading throughout the blood and other parts of the body. This infection is life-threatening and very dangerous, and it is preventable with a vaccine. There are 2 kinds of vaccines that are commonly used. The vaccine that's easily available here in Southeast Asia is an injection. It's a single injection. It works for a period of 3 to 5 years. A second vaccine, which is available in Europe and the US and other parts of the world, is a vaccine that's given in a pill form. Both of these vaccines are effective in preventing against typhoid. The third vaccine that can be given, as I mentioned before, is Hepatitis A. Hepatitis A is a liver infection caused by a virus. It's acquired from unclean food or water. If you get this infection, it can ruin your holiday, because the person who gets this infection is usually sick for anywhere from 3 to 6 weeks. It causes jaundice, keeps you from eating, and often ends up causing hospitalization. And it's preventable with a vaccine. The vaccine that's given to prevent against Hepatitis A is a series of 2 shots, one initially and then the second shot 6 to 12 months later. However, it can be given closer together for travelers, similar to the Japanese Encephalitis vaccine, which can be given close together for travelers who need to travel right away. Next vaccine is Hepatitis B vaccine. Now, Hepatitis B often is given in children in many parts of the world. This vaccine is very common. If you've not had it before, it's worth getting it. However, Hepatitis B is spread usually in the same ways that HIV is spread. In other words, having sex with somebody who's a carrier of Hepatitis B, or coming in contact with blood or bodily secretions of somebody who's a carrier. Hepatitis B vaccine is a series of 3 shots, usually initially at 1 month and 6 months. However, it can be given in a rush. The 3 shots can be given over 1 month period of time, and then a 4th shot can be given 6 to 12 months later. The final vaccine is Rabies vaccine. Now, Rabies vaccine can be given either before a bite to prevent rabies in case you're bitten by a rabid animal, or it can be given after a bite. If given before a bite, it's a series of 3 shots. If given after a bite, it's a series of 5 shots. But if it's given before a bite, you're given 3 shots. Then if bitten, you're given 2 additional shots afterward. So what's the advantage of taking the vaccine before being bitten? Well, there is one big advantage. If you're bitten by an animal and you have not had the rabies vaccine before, In addition to the rabies vaccine, we'll also give another type of vaccine, a passive vaccine called rabies immunoglobulin. Now this vaccine is not without its side effects. It's uncomfortable and it can often have some fairly significant side effects. In addition to that, you still need the 5 vaccines for rabies. However, if you've been given 3 shots to prevent against rabies prior to an animal bite, you don't need this extra rabies immunoglobulin vaccine. You will need 2 more shots afterward. I should tell you, the most common bite that I see working here in Thailand is not a dog bite, it's actually a monkey bite. Monkeys have learned to run up and bite you on the leg, causing you to drop your food, then grabs your food and runs away. The difficulty is we don't know what monkeys have rabies, and so because of that, every animal bite here in Thailand and in Southeast Asia needs to be treated with a rabies vaccine. This is Nick Walters saying thank you for listening.